Hey, what's up, guys? It's Alan Brown Enriquez, your host of Artistic Visions, the show where we like to go in depth with young artists at OCAD, talk about their art, what they like to talk about in their art, and what they would like to talk about in their art. Today's episode, I got a very special guest, Constant.
Hi, Elmer.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good? Yeah, it was a little
for
snowy
having
day
me.
today, eh?
Yes. I slid on my way over.
Oh,
on the
no.
bike on the streetcar.
Yeah, you got
I
a
was
little...
telling you before.
Yeah, a little biking trek today, which sucks because this is like the one time of snow.
I know, like the first actual snowfall where like it's staying. Like,
Yeah, it's not melting and just making the roads wet. But other than that, I'm glad to have you here.
Yeah, good day to do this.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Let's just get started. Who are you and what kind of art do you usually make?
Yeah, sure. I'm Constant, and the kind of art I make, my practice is mostly animation filmmaking and making short loops, and in both analog and digital mediums like 2D, stop motion, paper cutout, direct, like scratch on film, paint on film, and also drawing and illustration. And and I try to combine these things with like installation or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever you can get your hands on, you've definitely messed with it.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
I got like bored of like one medium like really easily, and so I'm always looking for ways to approach things in a different.
Yeah, like I will say, what really intrigued me about your art was the more recent stuff you were doing too, with the overhead projector.
Oh yeah.
And where you're messing with more materials that are like see-through, more opaque, and more translucent, but also you're messing with like I don't think it was water. I think it was some other liquid that is like more blue.
Yeah, no, it was like water,
Oh,
like
okay.
food coloring,
Oh.
and oil, and like, you know, if you add like hand sanitizer, like it'll fizzle up.
Oh,
And,
okay, yeah.
like liquid light show stuff. And I find that, I guess that's like sort of puppetry, like live performance. I find that like under an umbrella of animation.
Of course.
As well.
Well, I mean, let's go into one of these works that you actually have here, Lunar Family, which you called here. And what do you have to say about this amazing piece?
Yeah, so this was a piece I did last year in January, I think. So almost upon a whole year. Wow.
Wow.
Or no, earlier this year. It's December.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So at the start of this year, and it was for this group show with Shoes Off Collective. There was a group show at Bevy on Dundas. It's like it's like a coffee place, but also a gallery space. And the theme was chosen family. Yeah, I was just invited to like make a proposal for what I wanted to do, and so I was like, I really want to do this phenakistoscope, like, it's a pre-cinema form of like animation. Like, if you just spin this thing really fast, like you can see it move with like persistence of vision, right? And so I made these 4 different phenakistoscopes comprised of the 12 Lunar New Year zodiac animals, and then I divided them into groups of 3 each based on like their trines, so their characteristics and which ones get along. And yeah, I thought that like related to the theme. I really just wanted to do these like cycles of animation, and then figure out how it would relate to the theme afterwards. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. I think it loops smoothly, which is something like I care about a lot. And yeah, so there are 12 frames each. They're all hand-drawn animation. They're digitally hand-drawn, and then I printed them and registered them using 2-color risograph prints. So they're red and yellow. Yeah, they're 12 frames each, and they play at 12 frames per second. And so for the installation part, there was like a projector playing these cycles on loop, and then I made like this animation by scanning these 4 risograph prints and then turning it in Photoshop to animate it.
Okay. Yeah, because I was about to say, like, the process for this must have been really lengthy to get to this. Because, like,
definitely.
especially when you're now messing with risographs, which are another aspect of art, which already has its own process.
Yeah.
You know, I just yeah, like it, but I will say it came out so worth it because those colors on the risograph like came out so beautiful, and like that's like one thing that struck me is just like the movement and also the color. It kind of like begins to spiral in, so it kind of sucks you in, and you start looking at each individual animal and their movement, their walk cycle, their run cycle. I feel like you're very much exploring kind of like that old style of cinema in like a new form. Like you're making your own kind of artistic practice here. It's really funny, but also really amazing to see. And yeah, just like overall the animation as well. We're not even talking about the animation, but the animation like is so smooth, and it's just so like intriguing, and it's so inviting. Like I just loved, and I could like watch it for literal hours.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for Lunar Family, there's actually 2 videos I made. So there's one, which is it's the one that's projected, and so it's zoomed out. It's like the whole piece for all 4 of them, and then they kind of play sequentially. But then there's another piece which I spent time editing, where like digitally, like I'm zooming into each of them, and then it's like time to music, like drums.
Oh wow.
And yeah. So just so that you can get like up close with the textures, and maybe it's focus on like one piece of animation within the larger animation at a time, which I thought was important. But yeah, I think that's what I really think came out well for this piece, was the choice to do it with risograph. Because then all like the grainy texture is there.
Because I think I don't know which version that you're talking about of the video is on your site, but I watched that one, and there's moments where you do zoom in, and we see each individual animal's cycle, and that's what like really struck me, because I was like, it's so smooth, and you're saying it's 12 frames, so it's like to make it so smooth within 12 frames, and like because it's still 12 frames seems like not a lot, but it's still a lot. So it's very interesting how that worked out. But yeah, and also I really liked at the video, you kind of meshed all 12 of them together at the end, and then like kind of like it was just amazing to see, and it was really just so fun and so colorful. But like talking about, and we didn't even talk about like kind of the meanings and stuff behind it, because I was wondering what the animals represented. The zodiac calendar. Yeah. Now I understand. I was fully understand. I was wondering, but you confirmed it.
They share like if you look at it in like a cycle where there's 12 of them, it would be like there's 4 triangles each. It's like the ones that are like every 3 get along well, and like they share certain characteristics, and maybe they get along with certain other kinds of like people better.
Yeah, to put them in their own shrines, I think that was like a really cool aspect to like, because it kind of, I feel like people like myself who aren't really familiar with the zodiac calendar kind of are lost when they're like, oh, I'm this animal or I'm this. But when you start understanding, oh, it's about like, well, these animals understand each other, they mesh well together. Yeah, it's all really cool, and like it's really cool to see.
Yeah. I think that also came out of necessity. Like when I was ideating as well, I was trying to figure out how I was going to do 12 of them in one. Like Fennekiss the scope. But yeah, so it just came out of like, I can split it off into 4 different ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, I learned about like these groupings as I was like doing research and talking to my parents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool, actually. Well, an amazing piece overall. I love this piece from the Shoes Off Collective show. Amazing stuff. But we will move on to your next piece.
I still have prints also.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll give you one.
If you,
what animal are you?
I need to remember.
Or what year are you born in?
Oh, 2000.
Okay, me too.
Dragon. Yes. Yeah. Dragon is we're the best ones, obviously.
Yeah.
We have your next piece, Catch Me If You Can. And what would you like to say about this piece?
Yeah, so this piece it's a 5-channel installation, and has like sculpture or like collage found objects as part of it as well. And I use like these CDs to kind of make images on the wall. Yeah, and so on 4 of the CRTs that are synced, I just put a playlist of different animations I had made previously, like in the past like 2-3 years, and they would loop a few times before switching over to the next one. And then there's a larger CRT monitor with a video camera on top of it. It's linked to the monitor so you can see yourself in it as well while you're watching, and kind of the autofocus square follows your face and tracks it, which I found was interesting and like entertaining, engaging as as like as an interactive component of like this installation. Yeah, and with the CDs on the wall as well, like I like that, like in different lighting, obviously the reflections will look differently. So yeah, I like for any installation or any artwork in general, like for there to be an engaging aspect to it.
Yeah. And I also just wanted to touch on as well, like the little collectibles. What are those fully found, or were those like things you just had over time and then you're like, I need to show off this Homer Simpson?
For sure. I think like, well, I threw this together like really quickly. Like I was, at first it was just going to be like this 5-channel video. And then I found like a box of used CDs that like just in the electronic waste bin at OCAD, and I was like, I want to do something with this. You know, it's like kind of related, like these older technology. You know? And they look pretty, the reflection, and so yeah, I just thought of like, oh, maybe I can make an image. I just used like double-sided tape, and thankfully they stuck onto the wall. And yeah, with the heart, and then especially like the eyes, I like that. That's like a ASCII art, like using like the keyboard text to like create a face and place emotion onto like something that doesn't have emotion. And it's the same with the monitor that is capturing or like broadcasting like a live view of like the viewer in front of the, like you watching the animations as well. But for the found objects, I don't know. I was just like, I have this naked Homer Simpson drinking like the Duff beer in my room. I want to use this for something, you know? Like, there's a plinth, and I can do more. And then he's standing on this mat that's a cyanotype print from my friend Mantis mailed me.
Oh, wow.
And that's actually an animation as well. If you look at it, it's like a couple different frames. And then inside there's like these smaller plastic cubes, and I thought that was funny. It kind of looks like Homer Simpson's in an art gallery himself. And then I just put like these rocks and leaves that I found inside of it, and then these yellow hand-painted sculptures that I did. Like they were just like in my room. I was like, okay, this is like a good size. It kind of like fits. It's like, it's playful. I want like all of this to be playful and kind of, they make sense together.
No, because I was really, because I mean, when I'm looking at this piece, it feels like it encompasses a lot of, you know, yourself, like who you are as a person. And like, because even the artist statement, you have like, see if you can catch some of those or something like that, like or like sometimes synced, sometimes not. Like, you know, it's like things like that where it's like, okay, like this person is allowing me into their world and kind of like how they view things. Not necessarily like fully, you're not obviously viewing the world through a camera all the time, but you know, you obviously have that perspective, and that's not even touching on like what you're doing visually. It's so striking. I really do like the idea of watching yourself like kind of reacting to art pieces. It's kind of like a react video, but like, you know, like a gameplay video, but not. But so it's really interesting in that aspect. CDs, I noticed it was a smiley face like emoticon. Like I was like, that's really cool. And honestly, the pictures came out really nice. Like this,
thank you.
Like they just came out amazing, and I'm really just impressed at it all. And the animation too, we didn't even touch on the animation, but there is like a bit of animation as well in the 4 channels. You're kind of messing with individual screens
Yeah.
showing something, but also all four
Exactly.
at the same time.
So I had to like divide. I had to like crop like one animation into 4 quarters, and then, and then get it synced so
Yeah.
that it would play at the simultaneously at the same time. Yeah. And then the sometimes sync, sometimes not. That's because when I was installing it, it was like working fine, and then it like one of them got a little out of sync, and so. But the thing is, if it plays long enough, eventually.
Yeah.
It will go back in sync, you
Yeah.
know? So it just depends on how long you're willing to. There's like a bench in front of the installation I put as well. And so it depends like when you're watching it, how long you're staying there for. So like sometimes if you're watching it, it will be synced. And sometimes, one of them's like not completely synced.
Yeah, you're kind of rewarding some people if they stay.
Exactly.
But that's still a really cool aspect, even though it might not have been like something that you intentionally.
Exactly.
But it's a really cool aspect because now it gives that like, oh, it's like that because like there's always those moments in life where it feels synced and then it just goes out of sync and then right at the perfect moment everything comes together.
I feel like I really enjoy that about art making. Like I
Yeah.
try to be inviting and open to that as I'm creating like the work. Like I would say
Yes.
my work is very process driven. Like I'm discovering it as I'm making it and in real life and not just like ideating. And I think it works as a self-portrait as well, especially because I was like I wanted to make new animation work for this installation. I just didn't have like the time to get around to it. But I think it's like I realized it's like, a lot of people haven't seen like like a lot of these animated loops that I've made, like not everyone that's seen the installation would have like seen it. So to them it's new, and then for me as well and for the piece it's like it acts like as a self-portrait of like these different experiments that I've made over the years, and it's part of my broader animation practice. Yeah, and then same with the sculpture collage as well. It's like, this is a self-portrait. I feel like it's very much how I feel. Like I feel silly, maybe like out of place.
Feeling like Homer a little bit.
Yeah.
No, like I just absolutely love like every single aspect. Like although like everything in theory is different, like the Homer Simpson has nothing compared to a camera, but like the connection is that it's you. It's that it's it's who you are as a person. This is stuff that you've done probably 1,000 times in a different million ways.
I think the connection is with cartoon imagery. I think that's something I keep going back to in my work. Like it's just something I'm really drawn to. Like even when I was younger, like it's just because I suck at drawing like realistic. And I'm like not a good painter like either. Like I'm really like I draw like very flat 2D abstract and have always been really inspired by cartoons. But I'm also very interested in this shared language, because cartoons are so abstract, but like a smiley face being like a colon and a bracket, we can like read that as a smiley face, even though it's so abstract. It's this like shared like cultural consciousness that we have, or even with like the physics of cartoons, like in academia I think it's called like hammer space, this this portal behind a cartoon character's back that is infinite. It's like a black hole, but we have this understanding that like in a cartoon when a character reaches behind their back, they can pull out like a mallet, or, like, running off a cliff, and then they keep running until they stop. They do a take, they like look down and realize, and then they fall.
Classic Wile E. Coyote.
So exactly. And so there's like a little bit of humor to that, and there's also a little bit of like understanding between everybody like in the world, I would say that, because cartoons, like even like cave paintings are like cartoons or comics or sequential art, so there's like the connection there, like I think like the sculptural elements and the claymation and 2D animation that's looping on the TVs are also like playing with that as well.
No, it's all amazing. Like the amount of work and the amount of just overall drive to can complete this project is just absolutely amazing, and I wish I could have seen it in person. I don't think I got a chance to, but if you ever do get a chance to look at Constant's work, please do, because they've done some really crazy stuff, and you definitely don't want to miss it out, because I already have, and I regret it.
Thank you.
But let's move on to messages, because I wanted to ask, what kind of message do you usually like to kind of play with in your art?
Yeah, so I think you answered that question in the class, or you answered it by asking. I think like I'm always in making the art, and also in how I would like for it to be engaged with or seen. I'm always trying to approach it in a playful manner. Like, it's really difficult for me to get started or work on a piece for like a sustained period of time if it's not like engaging or playful to work on for me. Like, and so I think that's why a lot of the animation work tends to lean more towards like animated loops, or like even in my short films, like I view them as just a culmination of collaging like these loops and short sequences together. But yeah, so like I would just like for people to engage with it with a naivete and take what they want out of it. You know, like I'm much more interested in what other people think or have to say about my work than I am in like telling people this is what I think or whatnot.
The whole show don't tell kind of.
Or more so that like I would like for it to be open, like I'm in the work a lot, but I'd also like for people to see themselves in the work. And when they do, that's always like really nice.
No worries. We've already talked about like a little bit of kind of what your process is and messages. So taking it with like face value and take what you want from it is really cool aspect of it. But I do want to ask, what messages, if you had the chance to, would you like to try and tackle on in future pieces?
I guess this is a little bit of a cop-out answer again. I like work that makes as someone that likes arts, you know, like I like artwork that makes me want to make artwork. So that's why I'm maybe more drawn to naive like artwork, like children's drawings or drawings that look like they were done by children, you know, in that similar vein or like visual style or approach, especially like a very intrinsic approach. Like it feels like it wasn't very well thought out. It feels like it just like appeared, right? I'd like for my work hopefully to give that same message as well, that like art is just an extension of yourself really, and that form of self-expression, and however you're able to, at whatever technical level or with whatever materials you have, you can approach it and meet with it halfway. It's like a conversation. I find for myself with my own work, it's a conversation. Like I don't think I'm really like, most of the time when I'm really in it and like making it, I find that it's not really like I'm not coming up with ideas and then executing it. You know, it's like they come to me and it's like this back and forth conversation.
I definitely see the conversation aspect of that, where it's like I'm gonna give you this kind of medium and you can figure out what I try to do. And like I think that's what was really interesting when I was watching those videos, because especially with Lunar Family, like that I was like wrapping my head around like, okay, so it's animation, but like how do they do the actual making of the animals? Because that was like they're in a very stylized way. So it's like very, and I think there's like a sense of there's a sense of like no limits to yourself. Like I think you will you'll drive yourself to that goal that in whatever way you can.
Or even the opposite. It's like knowing what I'm not good at or what I'm unable to do, and then it's like, okay, well, I set those aside, and then so within this other realm of imagination, what can I chase? You know, like what can I, you know, really expand upon and go after, like what am I good at, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, for Lunar Family especially, or like all my artwork,
Yeah.
I want to show the artist's hand. Like I think that's really important for me. That you know, like this isn't just. I find especially in a lot of contemporary animation, there's at least commercially, or like at least like design and like advertisement more and more, like
Yeah.
we're seeing this erasure of like the artist's hand, and you know, like with AI and like all this stuff,
100%.
because it and I kind of like the opposite, you know. I like when when there's all these mistakes and like, you know, eraser shavings, or you know, you can see fingerprints,
Yeah,
and like an artist's hand,
Like
in a piece.
smudges, like
Smudges,
whatever.
exactly. Like I think about this all the time, like cereal boxes and like those cartoon characters,
Yeah.
like how much more life, I don't know, that they just used to have, and the commercials as well. Yeah, versus it's becomes like more and more stripped down, and
Oh,
more
yeah.
and more like serving a brand, I don't know, rather than
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's definitely more like, oh well, it's the guy who sells, instead of like, oh, Tony the Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in like making the product that is the animation, like the point of it is
Yeah.
like, let's have consistent lighting, let's make sure the colors all look a certain way, and the character can only look like this. Like you're not allowed to make the character, you
Yeah.
know, stretch him and like put him in different scenarios or contexts, you
Mhm.
know. Yeah, I abhor.
Yeah.
That's so I'm trying to do the opposite with the risograph piece. Like that's, you know, I was shading it like by hand, like with
Yeah,
pencil.
wow.
I want to show that these are like hand drawn animations. I wasn't like a person made this essentially.
Yeah.
And same with, you know, same with the sculpture. Same with like the whole idea of like having the camera on you. It's like
Yeah.
there's a person, you know, here. There's a person that set this up, and then now there's a person like viewing it. And with the sculpture as well, like I included like that fortune cookie that I got. I think it says like you are capable of beautiful things, or yet you have a great appreciation for beautiful things. I
Yes.
got that like maybe a couple days like before.
Really?
Yeah, this installation.
That's
I
a
was like,
great little thing to pull out too from a
Yeah.
fortune cookie. I was
yeah, definitely. And I think like it goes with like viewing the artwork.
like, yes.
Like in itself, but also with the camera component, and it's also like the juxtaposition between that and like the naked Homer sipping on the Duff beer in this tiny art gallery, I think is like funny.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, so like that's something really personal, and that's something we can like recognize, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, like all these things are like handmade, and you can see that these are just some rocks. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's not like a mystery, or it's not anonymous, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can kind of like fill in the gaps yourself if you know me or if you don't know me. Yeah, the work is kind of like inviting us to connect through it.
Yeah. No, I like, yeah, exactly. Especially with your installation, the Catch Me If You Can installation, I can see that message of like inviting people to question and to converse and talk about this installation in many different ways.
Yeah, to watch it together.
To watch it together.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool seeing all that and hearing about you talking about it, because now it just ties every single piece almost together, because it's like you're kind of always not necessarily testing, but like, you know, you're playing with audiences in a way where it's like, what did I do here?
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
figure it out. But it's really cool just seeing everything come together as well.
For the viewer as well, like I like that it's like a game. It's like what you get out of it, kind of like what you put into it as well. Like if you're paying attention to a certain thing, maybe you'll pick up on something that you know is a little bit beneath the surface, or like isn't immediately apparent, and you know that's rewarding. Like,
Yes.
As like when you're watching an animation or television show, or you know, or like even like a painting, if you notice like a specific detail, you're like, oh, this gives more, I don't know, like life to this piece, or this makes it more relatable for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. I will move on to my next question is, who or what has inspired you? I think we heard a little bit in through cartoons,
Yeah.
but tell me what has inspired you kind of directly.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we talked about it earlier. Like definitely pre-cinema animation, sequential art, like as. Yeah, just like sequential art in general, going like cave paintings, comics, like zines, like animation, both like as like artwork on its own, also like GIFs and like how animation has existed like on the internet. And again, like how Hammer Space and cartoon imagery ties that together. Like sending gifs of like from your favorite show or maybe a show you haven't watched before because this drawn animation is relatable or depicts like a mood that you're feeling. Like I want my work to be in that same vein as like just a gift you would send or a gift that your grandma would send to you. Like or those like memes of like that like middle-aged people really like on Facebook, like with minions, but they're recontextualized and like really personal. Like they add their own inspirational caption or like, comedic caption, like. Yeah.
It's 7 p.m. somewhere.
Exactly.
It's like a minion with a wine glass.
Exactly. Because it's like something that's recognizable and universally relatable. Yeah. It's like recontextualizing this thing in this minion with a wine glass that we all know, and then putting it in a different, context.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. Yeah, because like I do like that aspect of the Hammer Space and like connecting that with your art. I mean, just like looking at your art too. I think it just because especially go back to that one image. Yeah, this image. Like I absolutely love the colors that you use here too, and just like what you're doing with just the face. And I honestly. The split I really like a lot more because it like almost is like tears the face away from it. So like you're obviously playing around in that space, and it's really cool to see.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean that split was like unintentional, but I like that. Yeah, no, I like that you took that away from it, and it it goes with everything that it's doing. I think I called that piece like Mind Prison or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Like when I made it that loop, and. Yeah, that one specifically was really inspired by this Japanese animator filmmaker Masaki Yuasa, and he draws in a way that's like totally, I think, unique and original, especially when working on like shows and like movies that are seen and broadcast to like wider audiences. And he, I find, approaches things in a really naive and maybe like jagged style. Yeah, I was just trying to harness that energy inside when I was making that, when I was animating that piece. It kind of like I didn't like plan to animate that piece. I just like drew one drawing, and then it just becomes more drawings, and I kind of see where the drawings take me, and try to follow through with that.
Well, I mean, everything that I've seen, I've just absolutely astounding to look at and just to view. The videos as well, amazing. A little ahead of myself, but do check out Constant's website for a lot of your art because they have a lot of art.
Yeah, ConstantYen.com.
Yes, and it'll be on screen if you don't want to type it. But I will move on to my last question. It's about OCAD, our favorite place in the world.
Yeah.
How has OCAD kind of helped you with the process of making art?
So I started working at OCAD last year in February. I think it was right after I finished making the Lunar Family piece. Actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And yeah, like being a CA at the Integrated Media Experimental Animation sign-out desk has been like really great. Like as I said, with Catch Me If You Can, this installation specifically, it was part of a group exhibit at OCAD. It was like the CA show where all the CAs from the different studio departments at OCAD made pieces, and then we had a little group show. I think you missed it because it was right after GradX, so the school was like empty.
Okay.
There was like no classes going on.
That makes sense.
We're having another one in February, though.
Oh, then I'll be there in February.
Yeah, where there'll be more people at school. But Yeah, so my boss Gerald that
Mhm.
hired me and has been really helpful, like in this piece specifically with um, figuring out like the logistics of like syncing the screens, and I can like
Mhm.
talk to him about
Yeah.
the technical requirements for it, and then also having the access to like the equipment
Yes.
as well. Yeah, and for like Lunar Family, like I got that done at the Risograph studio at 667. Gabby helped me with those up there. It's inspiring to see a lot of work all the time and be surrounded by it. It's inspiring to like
Mhm.
interact and engage with students and faculty and like problem solve and like help them
Yes.
with the technical or creative
Yeah.
aspects of their projects. Yeah, so I think in that way it's been really inspiring. And then also community, like
Mhm.
I'm friends with all of my coworkers. I'd say everyone I work with has been really great. And then if you have community and you're more mentally well and healthier, then it's easier to work on art.
Yeah.
You're spending less time, in your room, like hating yourself
Yeah.
more time at the drawing table.
Yeah. No, that's 100%.
Yeah.
You don't realize how true that is until you're like at OCAD talking to people about art, and then you're like,
Mhm.
I kind of want to create something, and then you create something, talk to other people about it. They give you feedback, whether negative or positive, either or. It's still feedback, and you can work on it in whatever way. Like, so it's really cool to hear that, and also. Really wanted to touch on Gerald because this is someone who is kind of it seemed as like the head of taking care of equipment for INTM, but he's so understanding and nice
Yeah.
as a person. So like if you need help
Very
on any
giving with
very
his time, yeah.
very giving with his time, like any kind of assistance you need with whatever it is, like to assembling a C-stand, to turning on the camera, or whatever it may be, or probably programming an Arduino.
Yeah.
Gerald has done a lot for INTM. So those people who are there for the specific cages, they're there for you. They're there to help you. They might not be there all the time, but
Yeah.
Constant might be there.
Yeah.
To help.
Like I'd really like to do that for animation.
Yeah.
Or because I'm as big of a nerd as Gerald is for different animation techniques, approaches, technical aspect.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah. No, it'd be great to see the Gerald of animation. But it's just cool to see that those people are there at OCAD to help you to further your art and to further your learning experience, how you just create overall.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to hear that as well. That like a lot of this kind of installations obviously could have been done purely by you, but with that help, it just kind of inches you closer to where you want to be. And that was really cool to hear.
Yeah. And also for all of the installations,
Yes.
I'd like to mention I got a lot of help from friends.
Yes.
Yeah, especially for Lunar Family, like I got help from people I met the day of that were just part of the group show that I had never met before because I wasn't at OCAD at that time. And a lot of the students exhibiting for Shoes Off are from OCAD because I think that's where like the collective started.
Yes.
And so yeah, like I got a lot of help with the actual install.
Mhm.
Because as I said, I was like doing everything like a little last minute and throwing it all together.
Yeah.
Within like a couple days or a night, a few hours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just amazing to see your art, how it's gone to that point. It's amazing. And just hearing about, the amount of the community, because I've seen you at the cage so many times, and, a lot of times you're smiling, you're having a good time. So it's really good to see that you have that community there at OCAD in a workspace too, where it's so welcoming and inviting for not even just the students, but also the coworkers. It's all a great encompassing space for everyone, for a community to be at. Constant, thank you so much for coming on this show, Artistic Visions. But before thank you for your time. But before we end off this episode, is there anything you'd like to plug, promote, or put out there for the world to know?
Not really. Yeah, check out my website. It's just my name, constantyan.com. Instagram as well. It's at Yawnstint, YAWNSTANT. And then, yeah, the CA show is coming up in February. I have no idea what I'm going to do for it, but hoping to collaborate.
Some last minute plans going to be
Yeah.
conjured up.
Well, yeah, I'll think over it.
Yeah, I'll think
Maybe,
about
before a month before.
Okay, you'll give yourself a month. That's a good amount of time.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope you had a good time as much as I did.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for your time.
No, thank
Yeah.
you. And thank you for watching this episode of Artistic Visions. Cannot wait to see you guys very, very soon. Hope you have a great day, week, or general weekend. Bye.